Timeline of tennis on UK television. This is a timeline of the history of tennis on television in the UK. 1930s to 1950s. 1937, 21 June, the BBC broadcasts television coverage of the Wimbledon Tennis Championships for the first time. 1956. Following its launch the previous autumn, ITV broadcasts coverage from Wimbledon Championships for the first time. 1960s. 1960. No events. 1961. No events. 1962. No events. 1963. No events. 1964. 23 June, Wimbledon Match of the Day is broadcast for the first time, featuring recorded highlights of today's outstanding match. 1965. No events. 1966. No events. 1967. On July, Wimbledon becomes the first program to be broadcast in color. The color coverage is restricted to BBC Two, as it is a further 2 years before color broadcasts begin on BBC Cone. 1968. 24 June, 6 July, the Wimbledon Championships are shown on ITV for the final time. 1969. 23 June, the BBC once again becomes the exclusive broadcaster of the Wimbledon Championships. 1970s. 1970 to 1976. No events. 1977. The BBC broadcasts the US Open for the first time, but coverage is restricted to next day highlights of the men's final. It also does the same in 1978. 1978. No events. 1979. 14 June, the BBC shows live coverage of the Queen's Club Championships for the first time, and more than 40 years on, the BBC continues to provide extensive live coverage of the event. 1980s. 1980. No events. 1981. 81. 7 June, the BBC broadcasts coverage of the French Open for the first time. Its coverage is restricted to the finals weekend. 1982. 82. No events. 1983. No events. 1984. 25 June, Wimbledon Match of the Day is broadcast on BBC Cone for the first time. 1 September, the BBC expands its coverage of the US Open when it shows highlights of play all throughout the second week. 1985. No events. 1986. No events. 1987. 14 September, the BBC shows the US Open for the final time, having shown live coverage of the finals of the event for the past 5 years, although it does show the event once more in 1992. 1988. 10 September, Channel 4 broadcasts the 1988 US Open. 1989. January, the BBC televises the Australian Open for the first time. However, this is a one-off and does not cover the event again until 1995. 5 February, Eurosport begins broadcasting, and tennis is the first event to be shown on the channel when it shows Davis Cup action. Tennis goes on to receive extensive coverage on the channel, and to this day Eurosport is the principal broadcaster of the Australian Open and the French Open. 1990s. 1990. 25 June. Wimbledon Match of the Day is renamed Today at Wimbledon, and for the first time, the program receives a next morning repeat on BBC Two. In addition to the BBC extensive live coverage, British Satellite Broadcasting broadcasts nightly highlights of the 1990 Wimbledon Championships. This was the only time, until 2016, that a non-terrestrial channel in the UK has broadcast the tournament. 1991. 26 August, Sky Sports begins its coverage of the US Open tournament. This is the first major tennis event that Sky covers, and the channel shows live coverage of the entire tournament. 1992. No events. 1993. No events. 1994. No events. 1995. June, the BBC expands its coverage of the French Open when, for the first time, it shows live coverage of the second week. Previously, the BBC coverage of the event had been finals weekend and occasional coverage of the semi-finals during cricket rain delays. 1996. No events. 1997. Today at Wimbledon moves back to BBC Two, and for the first time, the highlights program is given a fixed weekday slot of 9:30 p.m. 1998-88. No events. 1999. 2 April following Britain's elevation to the World Group of the Davis Cup. Previously, the BBC had only shown Britain's ties as brief highlights and on an ad hoc basis. 21 June. The launch the previous year of BBC Choice allows the BBC to provide coverage of an alternative match at Wimbledon beyond just after 4 p.m. for the first time. 2000. ON Digital purchases the rights to the ATP Masters Series and shows live coverage on its own sport channel. 2001. 11 August. The ITV Sport channel replaces ON Sport, and coverage of the ATP Masters Series moves to the new channel. 2002. Following the demise of the ITV Sport channel, coverage of the ATP Masters Series moves to Sky Sports. 2003. No events. 2004. No events. 2005. Today at Wimbledon is moved to the earlier start time of 8:30 p.m., with live coverage transferred to the BBC Red Button at this point. 2006. Today at Wimbledon is moved to the earlier start time of 8 p.m. Consequently, the program is not broadcast if major matches are still in progress, and on other days, live tennis transfers at 8 p.m. to the BBC Red Button. 2007. High-definition television coverage of Wimbledon is broadcast by the BBC for the first time. The BBC HD channel shows continual live coverage during the tournament of Centre Court and Court No. 1, as well as the evening highlights show Today at Wimbledon. 2008. No events. 2009. December. The BBC broadcasts the end-of-year ATP Finals for the first time. 2010. No events. 2011 and 2011 and 2011 2011 and 2011 2011 and 2011 and 2011 and 2011. No events. 2012. 27 May. ITV Sport takes over as terrestrial broadcaster of the French Open. ITV shows full live coverage, mainly on ITV4, as opposed to the partial coverage shown by the previous rights holder, the BBC. This is the first time since 1968 that ITV has shown coverage of one of the sport's Big Four tournaments. 2013. No events. 2014. January. BT Sport replaces Sky Sports as broadcaster of the Women's Tennis Association. June. BT Sport broadcasts men's tennis for the first time when it shows live coverage of the Egon Championships tennis tournament from Queen's Club. 2015. June. The BBC Wimbledon Tennis Championships highlights program changes format and name to Wimbledon Today, with a new light-hearted magazine format, but after only 1 year, the format was abandoned for 2016. September. Sky Sports shows coverage of the US Open tennis for the final time, having shown the event every year since 1991. It had decided not to bid for the rights to the 2016 tournament. 2016. 27 June. Eurosport shows live and recorded coverage of the Wimbledon Tennis Championships for the first time, thereby becoming the first commercial pay-TV broadcaster to air live UK coverage from the All England Club. Its live coverage is restricted to the finals weekend. This is the first time since 1968 that the BBC has not been the exclusive broadcaster of Wimbledon in the UK. 2017. May. Dave replaces Sky Sports as broadcaster of tennis tie-break tennis tournament. 28 August. -10 September. Eurosport shows the US Open for the final time. It had held exclusive rights to the past two tournaments, and prior to this it had obtained secondary rights to the event, with Sky Sports being the main rights holder. 2018. 18 June Amazon Prime's first live sport in the UK is the Queen's Club tennis tournament. 27 August Amazon Prime broadcasts the US Open for the first time. This is the first time that a major sporting event has only been available via streaming-only platform. December Sky Sports coverage of tennis ends after it loses the rights to the ATP Tour to Amazon Prime. 2019. 3 November BT Sport ends its coverage of the WTA after it loses the rights to Amazon Prime. November the BBC loses the rights to Britain's Davis Cup tennis matches to Eurosport, having held them since the late 1990s. 2020s. 2020. 6 January Amazon Prime Video expands its coverage of tennis when it takes over as the UK broadcaster of the WTA, showing 49 tournaments a year. 2021. 13 June ITV broadcasts the French Open for the final time following Eurosport gaining exclusive rights to the event from 2022 onwards. 11 September Channel 4 does a last-minute deal with rights holder Amazon Prime to show live coverage of the final of the 2021 US Open women's singles after Britain's Emma Raducanu reaches the final. This is the first time since the late 1980s that tennis has been shown on Channel 4. 24 September Eurosport becomes the exclusive broadcast of the Laver Cup and will show the event until 2030. References